What is All Children's Lives Matters project about? I have decided to provide my services to the children, the community of Griffin. I never thought that moving from California to Georgia was going to bring me into this place. And this place is basically my whole experience with children, and that's my own. I'm proud to say that I have 3 healthy children, 3 healthy girls. All are definitely unique in their own way. I've chose to homeschool my 2 youngest. That decision that I've made during that time, because now they are 8 and 11, so I've been homeschooling them since, they've been able to follow direction and understand when I'm communicating with them. So it took some time to get to that, but it paid off. My oldest is 21, and she didn't have this experience that I am teaching to my 2 youngest. And I would have to say that came from, being a mother the first time. That is where you develop your skills. If you're fully dedicated to your child, your first round, it's like you start learning things that you never thought you had in you. It's a beautiful experience. The outcome, when you see your child grow, you're like, yeah, that came from, the mom, and the feeling that you get as they progress, it just, for me, it brings so much love into my heart. Now myself and my children, as well as my husband, we came from California to Georgia for a new, fresh start. I guess you can say my experience raising my children and now here being in Georgia has shifted to more of a broad span of like, I have so much to offer to these children here in Griffin, and I mean that by teaching them certain levels of being able to be still, to be able to have time for themselves, and it really is patience. When we give children access to another part of a tool that is very peaceful. And I mean by meditating. There's other things as well that I will be sharing in the project that I am creating here in Griffin. But that's kind of like an idea where I'm going with this. Those that do practice meditation and other tools. I feel with what I've used in my family, with my girls, to get them into a healthier routine, getting them to be able to expand their creation, their minds, their imagination, into one that is theirs, a healthy mindset. And it really does come within. And that takes practice, for those that have started late. But when your child is growing and developing in the beginning, it's like your brain is ready to just soak in all these amazing things that are occurring. And not all the time are they absorbing things that are positive. So, there's so much control that we have over, the things that our children see and hear, and are a part of. And we can take it as adults too, adults too, like myself. If there's something that I've never encountered before, it's always going to be like a new experience. But not all my experiences have been great. So I say, with that being said, I've had to learn many techniques to get myself into a balanced state. And that is a daily practice. You know, I was one to be thrown into the wolves of like, figure it out, you know. My life growing up has always been dictated, either in a home setting or even in school. So, really, you know, being able to think for myself, like, what am I really capable of, has always been dictated. That's the conclusion that I have came to, that has come to me at this point in my life at 41. And I'm not going to be upset about it. You know, I know life is all about learning. I know that without mistakes, we could not grow. So the fact that, you know, our children, you know, their mistakes should only be ones that require attention versus having to deal with that, the basic part of growing, but then on top of that, other things that they may see and hear that have nothing to do with their own mistakes and lessons. You know, we can only protect our children to an extent. But I am saying giving our children the opportunity to protect themselves without reacting. That they know that their feelings are valid, but we shouldn't act upon them. And that there takes many different techniques, patience, and to be able to observe and let these children express themselves, you know, without having to, whatever that they're expressing, it'd be best that they are able to speak whatever is on their mind so we can be clear on the path that they are taking. We want our children to have choices. Because when it's dictated, it's like there's a one way of seeing things to a point to when they grow up and to become adults and then having to fend for themselves and discover that, wait a minute, life isn't all that great when it comes to dealing with other people, energies, frequencies, and vibrations. That if they are under pressure, that they would find healthier habits, healthier ways to deal with it other than drugs, violence, and whatever else that comes with. But there must be a line that is drawn, and that is where I come in to say, I will be the first one to raise my hand and say, what I have included in my children's lives was not only being a mother and doing what it is, my responsibility was to, in the beginning, you know, feed them, bathe them, clothe them. But once they were able to understand, it was just like, here's my chance. And that is what I learned with my second child. And I want to say that my second child was diagnosed with a slight case of autism at 2 years old. That there was another experience of being a mother for the very first time. I want to be as truthful and honest as I can with my own experience. Even though I'm coming off light in my conversation, me, you know, building confidence and knowing that what I'm about to do for my child is something that I've never experienced, but I know deep inside my heart that the way I'm about to approach this is for the best, all involved, myself, my husband, my other two girls, you know, anyone that surrounded my daughter and my daughter surrounding others. I had to figure out a way, and that way was being more to my daughter, giving her more attention where it didn't require me to really drain myself. But in the beginning, that was what was happening. And I'm like, it shouldn't have to be like that. So I've made adjustments throughout the years. She is now 11 years old. And she's fully functional. I myself, my husband decided to not go any further of whatever requirements it was for an autistic child to um, to um, to participate in it, if it be medicine, for her autism, or any type of therapy other than, her being able to interact with other people, children, just to be out and about, just to have that experience was a very, very important thing for myself and my husband. And in the beginning, it was very challenging, to see my daughter have to exert more energy than she needed to be able to find a niche to put that, instead of medicating her and putting her in a zombie state. As I see other people feel, that that's the great way to go, because, it can get violent. And I totally get that, safety first. But again, too, it's like, the functional part of developing is what's needed in the beginning ages, right? So it's like we got to somehow have more patience for this whole experience, even though my daughter had this challenge, I've never brought it to her attention up until now, because she's hearing me talk about it, and she's like, "Mom, is that me?" And yeah, at one time. And you're still growing, and we both challenged each other, as she was dealing with the challenge, I too was right next to her dealing with the same challenge. I'm like, okay, if you're having to grow a certain way and be challenged, and so am I. It did come with some cries, bumps and bruises, but we all know once we have it set to a way to where it's like, okay, this is working. Okay, then those bruises and things like that, no, it's learned. We've learned it. Now we're moving on to the next level of this. I've had to maneuver and do things, even though my daughter wasn't medicated. I was right there with her, and I tell you, it took a couple of months, maybe took a year or two, but it was worth it, because now at 11, my daughter is fully functional, up until her speech. I would say her speech still needs work, but hey, we're progressing as we move forward, and that's the goal. It's not going backwards. It's not being stagnant. It's moving. It's either going to move backwards or it's going to move forward. And sometimes in this type of case, it takes more energy, because the energy that my daughter was giving out was way too much, to where forward was definitely her inspiration. Like, that was her from the beginning, but it was like, okay, we need to place that somewhere, and my husband introduced me and the girls, crystals. And who would have thought during that time, I'm like, what is this, And the more I researched it, the more I wore it, the more I seen my children wear it. It was like, wow, like, it's something about these crystals at the time where it was like, I don't know what it is, but it's helping us. It's helping us stay focused, right? So that was another level that myself and my husband incorporated with our children. As time went by, again, I do homeschool my girls, my two youngest. And I will never regret it. I don't know, it's nothing like being able to teach your children the way you want to teach them, and then see the progress after, just knowing that you taught your daughter this, or your son this, or your grandson, or your granddaughter, your niece. It doesn't mean you have to have a child to feel this, or be a part of this. It's just listening in and feeling this flow of love is just enough, for me. I want you to excuse the background. Sorry about that. My children are very happy. They're very happy children, and it's just, that's my life, right? So anyways, let me get back to what I was saying. So, just taking the initiative to really not let anyone dictate something that I knew was best for my child, and it really came out to be great. So with that being said, there's so much, there are not so many tools, but there are steps to this, to get a child to be still, to listen in. And those tools I'm very fond of. I know that it works. Again, my daughter is fully functional other than her speech. She does drift off a little bit, and that's only because of her creative mind. So I do have things in place to help with that. And still, as we continue on every day of her life, my life, we stay consistent on creating. And the tools that I am going to be offering in this program is definitely going to be key to any child that I'll be working with from the ages of 5 and 8. To be able to have the opportunity to experience a peaceful state, so that when they are out and around certain energies, certain people that may bring them into a space of depression, whatever they're facing, bullying, the expectation of children now, it's so high because, everyone's trying to look like something that they may idolize. I don't know. There's many things right now that's occurring around our children that we are not focusing in on, and sometimes it could be that we're busy working. Again, there's always some type of dictation somewhere. But mainly focusing on the main core of the foundation, and that would say for our children, that's where I'm starting here. I'm starting something different. Our children are the next generation. And I know by following the steps that I've provided for my children, that I can definitely, with the time and space, to be able to create this peaceful, creative space, that they will too have the opportunity to expand their mind, to create the next world that's going to be. And I tell you right now, things are changing. Let's be real now. A lot of things are happening around us, things that we never thought that would ever occur in our towns, our state. We're experiencing a very heavy time now, and the heavy times just keep rolling in. But now we need to balance it out. And by creating this project that I'm doing is the way to go. It started here with my family, and I just want to have the opportunity to share that with the community here in Griffin, Georgia, with the children here in Griffin, Georgia. I traveled very far from California to Georgia, really not sure where I was going to go with this, myself and my husband and my girls, but something led me here. And 2.5 years later, I'm so sorry, it feels like forever, almost 2 years, I just feel like it's so needed. Every time myself and my husband, because we don't watch cable a lot, so we use YouTube as our source of news, just to catch up. We don't like to get, filled in with so many things that's happening, or, So when we tune in, I can't help but think about the state that I live in. I see children missing every other day, gun violence every other day. I see a lot of children dying every other day. I refuse to live like this. I refuse to sit back knowing that I have some tools and techniques that I can share to help the community, the parents, the grandparents, anyone caring for a child, that we still got to remember they still have time here to live. But now the time that they're living is definitely different from the time we remember. We know that things are changing, things are rising, things are just becoming more complicated. So where do we have time to think to have these healthy habits, to have a healthy community, to have a healthy state, it all starts with us, the people. Everyone tuning in, now you're responsible. Okay? So I ask those that are tuning in to join me on this time. As things are starting to shift and change, and things are being destructive, the planet is going through a cleanse. Mother Nature is cleansing the planet for us, for our children, giving them a new opportunity to create the world that we always dreamed of. So let me be an example of just change is definitely a good thing. That whatever is being brought to light, whatever is being exposed, it's just time to really celebrate this time, because we've been in the dark on so many things. You know, I think about my ancestors, the time that they lived, and just wanting to be at the forefront of it all, to not keep what I've gained throughout the years with my children, my experience being a mother of an autistic child, being a mother of 3 girls. You know, my experiences definitely make sense now. So anyone interested in this project that I'm developing here in Griffin, that want to donate, that want to purchase the All Children's Lives Matter t-shirt, it's a good investment. It's a really good investment. There's nothing but love on this whole platform. My whole intent is just nothing but pure love and forgiveness for what we have been through, and moving forward in our greatness. So all the t-shirts, all the donations going towards All Children Lives Matters project is going to this project for the children. I am starting with the ages of 5 and 8, working with a good sized group, definitely needing the funds to do so, so I can be able to reach out to as many of those children, parents, grandparents, anyone caring for a child, or anyone just interested in this project, you know, going towards making a space, a peaceful space for these children to have a clear mind, first of all, moving that into creativity, and then seeing the outcome, the final product, which is themselves and what they're able to bring to the table. Now, I say that because my child that is autistic, she's fully functional in everything. She can bathe, she can make herself breakfast. She definitely knows when it's time for school. She definitely gets into the routine. She's very responsible. She makes her own bed. She folds her own clothes. She's able to, you know, interact with other people. So other than the speech, you know, again, like I was saying, that is what we are working on. And definitely I have all the time in the world to be there right with her again, till we are able to get that down. With that all being said, she is now a self-taught animator. She has created her a YouTube channel on YouTube. I believe it's Snowy the Cat. Don't hold me to that. I'm sure there's lots of Snowy the Cats, but I'm hoping that's what it's her YouTube channel. But her work is amazing. I will post at the end of this a few clips of the things that my family, myself have involved ourselves with the tools that I am going to be introducing in this project for the children. Her animation is beautiful. Her imagination is beautiful. And I owe it all to her, and I know that challenges push us to a creative place. You know, there's a spark within us all that we kind of just, when we are under pressure, we're always looking outside of ourselves, you know, and that's not the design of this whole creation. When we are challenged and faced with things and obstacles, we got to go in. And when we use that, when we turn that towards ourselves, it's beautiful. It's like the unknown, like, wow, but again, I will definitely post at the end of this a few clips of my daughter's work. I also want to mention my baby. She is definitely gosh, she's our athletic girl. Myself and my husband, we don't have any soccer skills whatsoever, but there was when we first moved to Georgia, and we're like, what are we gonna do? Because we don't know anybody out here. We came out here on a clean piece of paper, like a plain canvas. Like, how are we gonna create this picture? We looked at the whole move that way, but at that time, we're just like, checking out all the local places, and we came across a sign that said soccer, of the ages of the right age for my baby at the time. We were just like, let's just try it, even though we're late, like by 3 weeks on enrollment. I said, let me just try anyway. And sure enough, I was able to speak to someone, and they were like, yeah, she can start practice now, even though registration was 3 weeks ago. So it was just like meant to be. So, we went through the whole works, got the soccer ball, got the soccer shoes, had her looking like a soccer girl. But it was like after a few practices, I saw something, I was like, wait a minute, this is actually, look at her feet. I had never noticed before, and how her feet is just so, I don't know, it has its own mind. It's like working with her. Definitely, it's amazing. So that was about 4 seasons ago. And now as she progressed, she's been able to make her Excel league. For her, it's very advanced. And sorry about that. Excuse the sound in the back. My husband is sleeping for work, and I had to jump on here and just vibe out with everyone tuning in. So she worked her way to her Excel team, and that's what she's been doing now. It took her about a year and a half to get there. But it was well worth it, because now she found the coach that is definitely dedicated to the children out here in Griffin. Oh my gosh. This man is incredible. He doesn't want your money. He is so passionate about the children, on practicing with them. His dedication is just, words can't describe this man. But I tell you, when you feel what you feel for the children, and know that there's many possibilities on which way they can go on a very positive note, he definitely does open that doorway for the children when it comes to soccer. So blessings to him and all he does for the children here in Griffin, Georgia. But she's so amazing at it. We didn't really think of it so much then, but when we look back on just like, supporting our child, staying active with her, homeschooling her, just keeping her at many possibilities, even though she is a soccer player. My husband is he's really into music. Our daughter has the same niche. More so, she's looking for some different sounds, and her type of music that she loves comes from the 80s. So I'm with her on that. I'm an 80s baby. And when she plays the music that she listens to, it just is like, dang, that was some good times for me, and the fact that she's feeling that time versus some music that are playing now, I'm like, that's what's up. The vibe is real. Like, she can really be there with me on like how I felt when I was listening to the music in those days. And just to bring that back is just like, thank you. Thank you for doing that for mom. Thank you for doing that for dad, And now for myself and my husband, we just want to see them even do things we've never done before in a more positive light, and whatever lessons and obstacles that come their way, may there be ones that can be worked at and moving forward, facing the challenge head on instead of running from it, us breaking that cycle. And that's another thing, for adults that are tuning in, that know the pattern of cycles that happen throughout our generation. I'm here to say, now that I've recognized it and able to see the pattern, that it ends with myself and my husband. So again, for me and how I lay the foundation for my family and my husband, there's some type of balance when it comes to a family setting. Are we the perfect family? No, we're not. We still bump heads. We try to, no, we do. We respect everyone's opinions. We do speak our minds at the best as we can. No one's perfect. We know that in this family. But when we do achieve our bumps in the road, we can definitely tap ourselves on the back and just keep moving. So, that's where I'm at, people that are tuning in. That type of frequency and energy and vibration that I would like to give back to the community and the children. I have been through relationships that have been up and down. This is my second marriage. I've had many experiences in many different ways. And at this time in my life, instead of, thinking about the days that didn't work for me, I got to look at it as a reflection. Like, when we do go through those times, which, we all know that we don't always have great days, but when we do hit those challenging days, that we know where to place that energy instead of outwards towards people and then bouncing back to us in a negative way. We have to be able to change that instantly, so we can live more healthier and balanced lives. And those techniques the children will be learning in the project that I'll be launching here in Griffin. Now, in order for all this to happen, I'm asking everyone either like this video or subscribe, share it. Just listening in is bringing in more love and the awareness. And then also you can check out my shop, fmr1.myspreadshop.com. Right there you can check out the All Children's Lives t-shirts, buttons, teddy bears, sweaters, socks, magnets, things like that. By all means, please purchase one. You wearing the t-shirt is being a part of this time, this movement, this change for the future generation. And know that nothing is ever not seen. So that too can inspire you if you're not in the city of Griffin and you're in another state, let us pass this through and watch how I develop this here in Griffin. I'm not looking to, I'm looking for the right group of children that need my attention. The right type of people that are willing to change in a better way. And that whatever destruction that's occurring and all these upgrades that are occurring that are not beneficial to us, the people, our children, let this be a way to find forgiveness and peace by taking charge of our own lives and giving a clear pathway for our children to have their imagination in a healthy way expand for the next generation, the new world. So I thank everyone for tuning in. I love you. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful night. And definitely stay tuned for what's next. But I will be sharing a few videos of what I got going on, what my children have been up to just kind of give you an idea of where I'm coming from when we set a routine that's more healthy in the beginning of our children's development, that it can blossom and be beautiful. So thank you again for tuning in. This is Heroes Journey Project 888. I am Miss May. Peace.